And they have been controlling the line of scrimmage from start to finish. Look, there's not one of the offensive line for Winnipeg got off the football. They snapped the ball, got hit in the mouth, and got straightened up. And so did D-Lam McCullough.
Jim Barker telling us yesterday that he believes the heart of this solid Toronto defense is right there in the middle. Demetrius Maxey and Jermaine Haley.
Well, you build through the middle, and that's what they wanted to do. Jim Barker said you build in there, you get those guys first, Maxey and Haley. Get them, then you get O'Shea behind them. Now you got strength right down the middle. Then they got Alondis Bryce playing the free safety, and he's really coming along.
Bombers went gambling in the first half and lost momentum. Here, a little shorter effort, third down, less than a yard to go, and Kerwin Bell himself has the first down.
They had to do it, though. I mean, now you have to do it. It really doesn't become a gamble. When you're less than a yard, you just push it through and go.
And a flag flies out of that scrum down there. It'll be objectionable conduct, I would assume, against one team.
It happened after the fact, for sure. Kerwin Bell was down. Whistle had blown. The flag went after that. Dave Ritchie wanted to know what the call was.
Well, discussion continues down there, and the Bombers cannot afford to have a stupid penalty here.
Toronto, first down.
We don't know who it was. Someone in the middle of that pileup. Kerwin Bell himself got 2 objectionable conduct penalties last week for chatting up the referees, or at least mouthing off to the referee.
Yeah, he was real fired up. He was bailed out by his kicker, Troy Westwood, as they made the field goal anyway, but he gave up 30 yards in penalties on one series.
Bomber drive continues just inside Argonaut territory. Bell stands in, missed his target. Stiegel got a hand on it, couldn't bring it home. That pass well off the mark.
Bell's getting frustrated again here tonight, and so is Milt Stiegel, simply because he's really having trouble getting open. I mean, Milt Stiegel running against his own. He sees it and then turns it out, but look who's standing right beside him. Kelly Wilshire. So he's got to throw that football to the outside, and then they can't hook up. So if he throws that ball right to Milt Stiegel, Kelly Wilshire breaks downhill and comes up with it.
Stiegel, 5 receptions, 46 yards thus far. Just over 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Bombers down by 18. Here comes the heat. Bell stands in. Stiegel is open, makes the catch, and he's down to the 26-yard line. Bell right on the money that time. Stiegel is hurt.
Well, the way
favoring his right shoulder there, Doctor. What do you think?
Certainly is. It looks like shoulder to me. I mean, Stiegel goes right down the middle. Blitz coming from the Argos. They're sending everybody. Kelly Wilshire tripped, and that's why Kerwin Bell had enough time to throw it. The hit coming right there, and the shoulder of Milt Stiegel's looks like is what the problem is. Tonius Bonner, the guy, that's the matchup we've been talking about.
And that's a big hit by number 10. Tonius Bonner.
Yeah, Bonner puts the hit on him. So even when Stiegel's catching him, Bonner's around.
Obvious pain as Milt Stiegel heads to the sidelines, and he's had a few injury problems since rejoining the Bombers this season. Missed a couple of games back-to-back.
You know, that doesn't look good, and I'll tell you why, because he's shaking his head in frustration. Yes, he's in pain, and you can see that, but he's frustrated because he knows how bad it is.
Bombers have a decent drive going. Kerwin Bell stands in. The buck wide open far side, makes the catch, stays in, and then they call him out. I thought he was right on the line. Wayne Shaw forcing him out over there with Wilshire in the neighborhood. Tough from our angle here, but I thought he was in bounds from the way he was reacting over there.
The way he moved his feet, it looked like he was very close to staying in. You get a good look at it.
Just one foot only. Oh, pretty good call, I think.
Yeah, he put that.
Yeah.
The 1 foot was on the line, the other one hadn't touched down. It's a good call. The official right on the spot waved it away.
The buck goes to the far side this time. It's 2nd and 10. Critical play again for the Bombers. Shovel pass. Ahead for Bruce Boyko, who tripped after making the catch. Now, there wasn't a substantial opening for him there, but he might have been able to pick up a couple more.
All those quarterbacks and coaches now have a decision to make. Do you gamble? That was just try and make it up on the fly. Do you gamble? You got 5 to go, but you're way down in the football game.
No, you don't gamble here, Glenn. 3rd down in a whole pile.
Take the points.
Take 3. Cut the lead to 15, and there's lots of time left.
No question. Take the points when you have a chance.
Over 4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Westwood is on the money. 31-yard field goal. The Bombers creep a little closer to the Argonauts, who had a solid first half. Jimmy Kemp on the left. He's in the game for the Argonauts. Good on 7 of 10, 113 yards, but the 1 touchdown went for an interception. On the right, that's Jay Barker, who is on the sidelines with an injury suffered in the first half. He had a pretty good half going. 5 of 9, 110 yards, and the touchdown. So, tough break for Barker, who got the start tonight.
Well, you can tell by what he was wearing, he's not coming back.
No, he's changed into civilian duds. Short squib kick. Bombers have it. Rasheed Gale. And no penalty markers, so the Bombers will have a key first down at the 52-yard line of the Argonauts. That one worked for Dave Ritchie.
They're hanging around.
Rasheed Gale, 14.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers are hanging around. This is what happened last week. Montreal had the game won. They really dominated the game from start to finish, but the Bombers kept hanging around. Made a couple of plays in the second half. And all of a sudden, they were in a chance to win and did it. The Bombers are starting to look eerily like last week, isn't it?
Score here, folks, and we've got a ball game. Bombers are down by 16. Set up for the first down. With the at the 53-yard line. Bell has a completion. Not much yardage that time. First catch, Robert Gordon, who had 6 for 55 yards. And a key touchdown for Winnipeg last week.
Well, now Robert Gordon has to pick up his game.
If Stiegel is gone, Gordon has to be better.
Right. He's got to pick it up now, because he's going to be the go-to guy now for Kerwin Bell, especially in man coverage. And right now, the Argos love to run blitz in 2nd and long. That's what it is right now. So expect a blitz from Toronto's defense. That means you got to go to your go-to guy in man coverage. And right now, it's got to be Robert Gordon.
2nd down and 8. Bell avoided the heat into traffic down there. And Bell ends up on his backside. Armstrong couldn't bring it down as 2 Argonaut defenders were there.
Well, that's really a win for the Argo defense. After an onside kick is recovered by Winnipeg, you think they'd have a lot of momentum. Sudden change comes up, and the timing was off on the pattern. You see how Matt DeBuck and Chris Armstrong are standing about 4 yards apart? That's not supposed to happen.
Shaw and Capers covering. Bombers at a field goal range, and that's 2 and out. So the pinball waits back near the 10-yard line. And he'll get a chance here, but the return will have to go the other way for pinball. Not much room on the sidelines, and he's driven back inside the 5 to about the 4. They'll mark his forward progress. Let's bring in David Amber.
Thanks, John. Joining me, Jay Barker in civilian clothes. Jay, what happened out there?
Well, the first look I took when I threw to Mookie when I was running around trying to make a play, threw the touchdown to him, and the guy took me underneath the chin all the way down. It kind of knocked me a little bit woozy then, and the quarterback counter, I got hit, then my head hit the ground, and I got up, and it was all black. And for me, I felt like didn't want to take a chance.
It's a precautionary move. What about next week? Do you think you'll be okay to come in?
Well, I wanted to actually come back out for this, but they said they want me to, sit down and go get a shower and be ready for next week. So, yeah, I feel real good right now. I feel like all my faculties are coming back, and hopefully we can still come away with a win here and then get ready for next week.
Well, a great first half to you. I hope you get better.
So that leaves it up to Jimmy Kemp, and the Argos trying to establish a bit of a run game. Darren Joseph there for a couple. He has 1 touchdown tonight.
That's really tough luck for Jay Barker, though. I mean, he had a chance, and he's got the nod. He's going to be the starting quarterback the rest of the way, and this is the game he gets dinged.
Injured Bomber looks to be number 38, Doug Hocking. So the Argos will take advantage of this opportunity to assess the situation, as it were. They grabbed 3 on the play at 2nd and 7 Toronto when we return. And the Bombers on a bit of a roll.
engagement ring. How else could 2 months' salary last forever? A diamond is forever. De Beers.
Injury timeout on the field at Skydome. Doug Hawking, a linebacker, is being attended to down near the 12-yard line.
And usually what happens is you get hit by your own guy, and that's what happens to Doug Hawking. See 53, Phil Curry? He's going to flow to the football, and watch what he does at the end of the play, right in the hip. There's no pads there. And those sting, those hurt. If that's a hip pointer, they really hurt.
Dave Ritchie was upset, as you might have heard when he chatted with us at halftime. He has now got 10 points in the third quarter compared to the Argonauts 1. And the Bombers are back in this thing, trailing by 16, 1:48 to go in the third quarter. But Ritchie has to do without his number 1 receiver, Milt Stegall.
They're missing Milt Stegall on offense. Milt Stegall went down with the shoulder injuries, hit by Antonius Bonner after a big play and a big catch over the middle. Here's how he got hurt. Solid hit and then was driven down into the turf.
You'll see it better here, landing on the right shoulder.
You feel it right away, and that's what they're looking at. They're putting it in a sling, so it looks like he has separated his shoulder. Doug Hawking is just now getting off the field. They got a makeshift secondary going on right now, with Tom Europe out of the lineup at the free safety position. Spencer McClellan playing there.
Hawking looks to be in a great deal of pain as well.
See, now Eric Johnson was the backup free safety. He's got to move to linebacker because Doug Hawking is out.
Shifting on the fly. The Bombers. Critical second down for the Argonauts. 2nd and 7. Toronto. Deep in Argonaut territory. Kent took his time. Looks to the far side and missed by a whole bunch there.
Yeah, I love the play, though, because you know what's happening before the play here? Jimmy Kemp tried to audible on the line of scrimmage. Maurice Kelly moved up and audibled the defense. So he audibled the audible. So Maurice Kelly can change the defense, and I mean, that's when you're starting to get comfortable with the guys. Remember, Doug Hawking is out of the lineup. They got a different free safety playing there, Spencer McClellan. Tom Europe's out of the lineup, and he audibled and changed the defense, and it worked.
So Kemp a little frustrated on the sidelines. Paul Prefontaine is in. This will be his 2nd punt tonight. But the Bombers, no matter how Prefontaine nails this, will have great field position. Ready to return for Winnipeg is Robert Gordon. Good kick. Gordon chased back to his 42. Not a bad return opportunity here. Gordon turns the corner, and he's out to midfield. About a yard shy of that on the 55. Good kick by Prefontaine. Dave?
Lots of bad news for the Blue Bombers right now. Milt Stegall, their leading receiver, he's in considerable pain. His shoulder is in a sling right now. He says he's done for the day. I just spoke with him. He could be gone longer, the looks of his shoulder. As for Doug Hawking, bad news for him too. They continue to ice and work on his right hip. He's in a lot of pain as well. His status is unclear whether he'll return for this game. That's definitely a big blow for the Blue Bombers who are trying to come back into this game.
Bombers down by 16. Set up at midfield. First down for Kerwin Bell. To his right. Bell doesn't run off, and it was there, though, as a first down.
He doesn't run often, but he can move the pocket around, and it's a good decision to do it because Demetrius Maxey and Jermaine Haley are having a bit of a game in the middle when he drops back and is in the pocket. So if you move the pocket, make those guys chase him around a little bit, it changes things up. Now Jermaine Haley and Demetrius Maxey have to look at the quarterback to find out where he is before they pin their ears back and take off to go rush it.
Nigel Williams on the strike from Kerwin Bell, and up for the first down. Near side, Matt DeBuck has another Bomber first down.
And then they do it the other way. So now they're rolling to the other side.
Bombers an encouraging third quarter, scoring 10 points compared to the Argos 1, and threatening to add more early in the fourth.
You're watching Adidas Friday Night Football, and we're at the quarter. Brought to you by Toyota Canada and its dealers.
Well, we may have a game yet. Duthy, Dunnigan, and Schultz back with you. Now, tough break for Jay Barker, who came on and was very impressive early on in that game and then gets knocked out. But Matt Dunnigan, you've been through that situation far too many times yourself as a player. Smart move to sit him down?
Yes, it really was. Jerry Townsend made a very critical call there. Set the young men down, let Jimmy Kemp play. It's too early in his career to risk any further damage. All of a sudden, I'm becoming the expert on it because I've had a few. But, you know, there is a situation there that it's very, very serious, and I'm glad to see him sit Jay out. You know, they came out and David Amber asked Coach Richie if their team could come back and possibly play Chris the second half and have a comeback like they did against Montreal. And he kind of caught him off guard, but Winnipeg is actually doing it.
You know what they're doing? They're fighting more than anything else. They're just making little gains, play after play after play. So there is optimism going into the fourth quarter, but I think there is more of an opportunity for Toronto. I see an offensive line that's coming off the ball. Ryan Terry is using his vision exceptionally well. If he gets going in this fourth quarter, he's going to do just fine. In the punting game, Noel Prefontaine kicks that ball, goes 47 yards. Bob Cameron kicks that ball, it goes 42 yards. I know a difference of only 5 yards, but let's say they have 3 or 4 exchanges. That's 15, 20 yards. That makes a big difference in the course of the game, James.
All right, now the Bombers were down by 19 last week against Montreal when they started their comeback, down by 16 here, so in need of another miracle from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as we head to fourth quarter action at Skydome. Here once again are John and Glenn.
Argos had a great first half. First, Darren Joseph.
They dominated the first half is what they did. Darren Joseph scores there.
Next, Jay Barker. Mitchell wide open. And then from 2 yards out, Ryan Terry. 31-6 at the half, Glenn.
Unreal. They dominated the first half. It's been a different story in the second half.
Kerwin Bell begins the final quarter with a touchdown toss, and he's a little shy. Looking for Robert Gordon, and again, Kerwin is on his back.
Just didn't get enough on the football, and the reason he did is because he was getting hammered.
That's happened to him a couple of times tonight. Adrian Smith covering.
Because you see, Gordon was in behind Adrian Smith, but the ball wasn't. Kerwin Bell took a hit from Demetrius Maxey and Jermaine Haley.
2nd and 10, Bombers at the Argonaut 29. Winnipeg outscoring Toronto by 9 points in the third quarter. Here's Bell stepping up. Gets it away. Nice play by Kerwin Bell to find Boyko.
That's called having blind trust.
That is a little bit of blind trust, a little bit of blind luck, too, because he was almost in the grasp at that point, but the play will move the sticks again. Another Winnipeg first down.
You know, I don't know that Kerwin Bell knew that Boyko was out there. I mean, he kind of just throws it at the last second. It took a long time to get there. Michael O'Shea was close. He didn't see the ball. See how close Michael O'Shea was there?
Yeah, O'Shea had his face to the ball. It might have been a different story. Anyway, Bomber drive continues. Wide open back to Buck. Buck tries to sidestep. Doesn't quite get away with it.
Oh, you know, Kerwin Bell's in a bit of a groove. I got to tell you, he is reading the deep. He read that defense, immediately knew where to go with the football. Cover 3 with the corner going way deep. 3 meaning 3 deep defenders. Corner's way deep. You throw it to the outside, and that's where Matt DeBuck was sitting.
Pretty good play by 30 Wayne Shaw there to keep DeBuck in his sights and make the tackle. Gain is 5.
Wayne Shaw is playing for Donald Smith right now in the corner.
DeBuck to the near side. 2nd and 5 for Kerwin Bell. Looks to the end zone, wide open, yes! Touchdown, Winnipeg. Boyko has it. Bruce Boyko gets the Bombers 6 points closer.
They're hanging around.
Oh, my gosh. 12-yard touchdown. All Argos in the first half. All Bombers so far in the second.
Oh, is this like the Twilight Zone or what? You're in the dimension of sight and sound. He gets rid of that football right at the right time. Artemius Houston coming off the edge. And Boyko's in the one-on-one on Michael O'Shea. Boyko used to be a slot back, remember. He could still run some patterns.
Bombers will go for 2. They have narrowed the gap to 10 points. So 2 here gets them a little bit closer.
Well, it's a 10-point game. They need 7 and a field goal anyway, even if they don't get it.
Might as well try for 2. They need 2 scores after this. They won't get that one. Bell is hammered. So the 2-point convert fails, but more importantly, the Bombers get 6. And they've closed to within 10. Surprising turn of events as Bell finds Boyko on Adidas Friday Night Football. Here's the scoring drive brought to you by 1-800-HI-IT'S-ME. Impressive by the Bombers.
Very impressive. 6 plays, and they got it done to Alan Boyko in a matchup against middle linebacker Michael O'Shea, and that's something that Michael O'Shea doesn't do a whole lot of, and that's cover downfield.
1-800-HI-IT'S-ME. It's the cheapest way to call collect. Bombers have closed the gap to 10 points. Really, Glenn, Winnipeg was woeful in the opening half. Down 31-6. The Argos haven't been able to get things going here in the second. On the return, it's Tyrone Brown, and not much there. It looks like Wade Miller is feeling okay.
Yeah, Wade Miller is still fired up. See, he's down there covering kicks now, and now, see, they got a little more confidence now on the Winnipeg sideline.
He is number 1 in special teams tackles in the CFL. 30 on the season.
Well, they're fired up, John, because of this touchdown. There's Boyko right there. Watch Michael O'Shea move over to try and cover him, but then he puts his head back in the backfield. This is something that Michael O'Shea doesn't do a whole lot of. You see, he stops his feet moving, and Alan Boyko is in behind him. He was looking at the quarterback, Kerwin Bell. Boyko slipped in behind him for the touchdown. That's why the Bombers are fired up right now.
Big series here for Jim Kemp. And he's behind the target far side.
You know, one of the other reasons, John, that this has been a big half for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is because they're playing in the Toronto end of the field, and they have been all half. Winnipeg has started with the ball on their own 48 in the second half. That's where they've started drives on average. The Argos are starting back on their own 22, and they're backed up again here on this drive.
Bombers still have a long way to come back. Trailing by 10, but the Argos face a key situation here. 2nd and 10. Kemp had a target, and Tyrone Brown couldn't hang on. Previous pass was off the mark to Kerwin, and that was on the money to Ty Brown.
Isn't Old Mo a funny guy?
Old Mo can be very funny.
You know, Old Mo is funny. And Tyrone Brown just takes his eyes off the football. You know, he's not looking at the football. He's not concentrating at the end of the play. But Old Mo is interesting. Because, you know, when he jumps from one sideline to another, he makes a big difference. He's the extra guy, the 13th guy. I'm talking, of course, about momentum.
Momentum, yes.
There's not a guy on the field called Mo. Not Mo, Curly Mo. And
that's basically momentum. It's 2 words when you talk about it in football terminology, right?
Yeah. Well, Mo is on the Winnipeg bench right now.
Prefontaine hammers this one. Bombers get a return out near the 40-yard line. From Robert Gordon, a 52-yard punt from